MSFS 2024 represents a huge leap forward for visuals in low-level flight simulation. And yet, when I recently made a really fun video at the Grand Canyon, I did get feedback around one aspect of the visuals. People said this forest woodland habitat at the top of the canyon here is realistic, but it's just a bit too dense and a bit too tall. And actually it's a pretty common criticism for forested habitat right across the board. And it's a criticism that goes right back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And in fact, back to the beta of that simulator. Trees are too dense, they're too big, and they're often in places that they shouldn't be. So what if we could, with one add-on, turn the page and go from this to something like this? And this is a case where less is really so much more. By dialing back the trees a bit, I can actually see more detail, I can see more variety. So what is this magic? Well, the add-on is called Seasons Enhanced by Bijan MSFS 24, and the scope of this thing isn't just the Grand Canyon, it's the whole world. Well, that does come with a couple of caveats, so stick with me in this video review. I'll cover those caveats and I'll hope to give you the information to help you decide whether this add-on is worth the asking price. And I'll start this with some before and after comparisons. On the left, look for stick-like photogrammetry placeholder trees and round, puffy placeholder generic trees. And on the right, look how Bijan has replaced them with palm trees, regionally appropriate for the Pacific coast of the USA. It's a similar story in Long Beach near LA. We've got these ugly placeholder photogrammetry trees over here on the left, and these much better palm trees are placed by Bijan over on the right. It's a much more realistic scene created by Bijan in the after image. And in the default imagery, you could be forgiven for thinking this is supposed to be a lush, Caribbean, tropical, lowland rainforest, but, well, this is what it's supposed to look like. Bijan's done a wonderful job here, look at it. It's supposed to be a banana plantation with these surrounding fields. Bijan, you've done a great job here. It's completely different. And here's something close to my heart. I've walked on these very dunes, and Bijan's done something to the original biome here. He's dialed back the oversaturated colours on the left, and he's made it a rather rustier colour over on the right. Not just that, we can see rather more of these low, dry shrubs on the top of the dunes on the right. That's correct. And how great would it be to take a scenic flight into a winery's helipad on beautiful Waiheke Island off the coast of Auckland, New Zealand? Well, yes, until you look at the default scenery over there on the left and it's like, where did all these trees come from? I'm fairly certain that Bijan has never really troubled himself to look in great detail at what the trees layout is like at Waiheke Island, but what he has done is adjusted the generic biome so that instead of laying out tall trees across half the planet, he's adjusted it so that we get low shrubs, which is much better for the kind of aviation that we want to do in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, something helpful here is that if you type in Bijan into the location search, what he has done is added a bunch of points of interest here where some of the modifications that he has done are shown in good light so that you can explore. I would just say I would like to see a few more listed here for my flight planning enjoyment. Because when you look at the release notes, and here are just some of them, there are just so many modifications he has made. Going a bit further with this, because there are so many modifications made here, I would like to see these release notes maybe grouped in a different way. I'd like to see them group them perhaps by continent and then by country, so I could get a clearer idea what has been changed, so it would be easier for me to plan my routes in such a way that I could enjoy the changes that have been made. Now, I think a really fair question at this point would be, why should I pay for an independent developer like Bijan Habashi to develop a product like Seasons Enhanced when we've got Microsoft and Asobo who presumably have the resources to do all this stuff for us? And yeah, fair question, right? Well, what we're seeing is a pipeline of big world updates on a sort of a gradual release schedule, and then some sort of slow, gradual updates to those when people report bugs or problems. And when you actually contrast that with Bijan's support method, which is on some level kind of low tech, but actually effective, what Bijan uses is a thread in the Flight Simulator official forums, and I'll put a link for that in this video description. You can look for yourself. At time of making this video, he's got about 3,000 posts in there, so it's pretty active. You can just drop a note in there yourself and say, Bijan, can you mask out these annoying trees in this airport that I use frequently? Or can you get rid of these nasty photogrammetry trees that are spoiling the views around my home neighborhood? And probably he can fold that into the next update for you, and he'll do it gladly. And the great thing is, all of your fellow flight simmers will also get the benefit of that as well. So I'm seeing that as a massive win-win. One, you're supporting an independent developer. Two, you're seeing the results really quickly for yourself. Three, everyone else gets the benefit of that as well. And four, we're making the most of the technology within this platform. So as far as I can tell, Bijan isn't developing new assets. He's making better use of the existing Microsoft and Asobo assets within the simulator, making better use of those native technologies. In some cases, it might be masking out unwanted features in that terrain. I mean, we are talking about a whole planet here. You know, it's understandable that Asobo haven't found every little detail that needs screening out. Bijan can do that. In other cases, maybe it's telling the simulator to add a little bit more of this biome in this area. And in other cases, maybe it's adjusting a biome so that, like I showed you with the desert, it's not such a bright shade of red, it's a little bit rustier. Or perhaps the trees are not so tall. Whatever the case, the way I look at it is, when you're purchasing the product, you're investing in one person to have a singular focus on improving this flight simulator at ground level. So perhaps if you're cruising along at 37,000 feet in a jetliner as your main simulator activity, maybe this product doesn't necessarily suit you, although I would say that if you've got trees growing in your favorite airport, maybe you could drop Bijan a line and he can mask those out for you. But then on the other hand, if you're into bush flying, if you're into helicopter flying like I am, this is going to be a fantastic addition to your Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 installation. As I record this, the MSFS 2024 marketplace still has not been launched, so the only way to purchase it right now is on Sim Market. That's about €16, about 17 US dollars, about 13 British pounds. That does mean at the moment what you'll be doing is receiving a zipped file that you will be manually moving into your community folder. Now, if by the time you've watched this, the marketplace has launched and Seasons Enhanced has been approved for the marketplace, you can choose to buy it through that method, and then hopefully updates will be pushed out through that method as well. Whether or not those will be pushed out as fast as what they would be through purchasing through Sim Market, I cannot answer that question. It may be just more convenient to let MSFS 2024 handle that update process for you. That's really up to you. Whatever you choose, whether this product is for you or not, I really hope this review has been helpful to you. I'm really excited about what developments we might still see in this Seasons Enhanced by Bijan Habashi, and what we might see from other independent developers too. And of course from Microsoft and Asobo. There's just so much more of the world that stands to see further developments, and I will of course cover those on this channel, because you know how I love low-level flying in my helicopters. So you can rely on me to have those here on this channel, and I hope I'll see you again for another video soon.